Hi and good morning, everybody, and welcome to my desk. So, have we got something going on today? As you all may or may not be aware, and I'm shouting out to all my Winnipeg peeps out there, of course, I have started a self-sustaining and self-sufficient greenhouse initiative. So what this means is I basically took a look at our citizens, our low income people, families that are struggling, anybody that might be using a food bank to feed their families and or themselves. And basically I wanted to do something that would allow people to have food sovereignty. So with that in mind, I then created, well, I shouldn't say I created the entire thing because obviously we've had solar power for a while now, and hydroponic towers, of course, are not my creation. They are somebody else's ingenious idea. But the water filtration and collection system is for me. So basically, I've combined all these technologies, mine included, with a water filtration system that collects both rainwater and or snow in order to be able to feed your plants their water. The solar power, of course, is collected and you get 2 batteries for backup. Depending on the size of your greenhouse. So if you have a 4x4 deck size greenhouse, you're going to get 1 backup battery with it. If you have a larger sort of in your yard greenhouse, that one you would probably end up with 2 backup batteries for. Also, with the water filtration system, I'm just going to say this, the one I designed is basically, the water is good for your plants, but if you were to actually take that same system and hook it up to your kitchen sink, and add a reverse osmosis UV filtration underneath your sink, you'd have unlimited supply of drinking water. So yeah, the design itself was actually made for feeding plants and at some point to be expanded for other uses, of course. But for now, it is indefinitely with my greenhouse. So with my greenhouse initiative, basically what I'm looking at doing is helping, of course, like I've said, to start out helping the people of Winnipeg. So I went and did a little bit of number crunching because, I mean, math doesn't lie, and I love that. So if we are looking at an average family of 3, they spend every month approximately $270 just on produce. Okay, so that's like your potatoes, your carrots, your peas, your tomatoes, whatever they can afford, basically, because we've all been to the grocery stores lately, and we know that this number might actually be significantly greater these days, because I'm imagining, yes, this is a 2020 study. So in 2020, this is what you would have spent on average as a family of 3 per month, making your yearly total $3,240. Even from 2020 standards, that seems expensive. Am I wrong? So if we go from that, from an average family of 3, we go to an average family of 4, you're spending $271.47, which brings your yearly total to $3,257.64. An average family of 5 is going to spend $339.34 per month, with an annual of $4,072.68. That's a lot of money every year. I don't know if it's just me, but I mean, and I can even say that I'm technically a family of 2 because it is my partner and myself. So, excuse me, on average, that $270 a month actually seems slightly more correct for us than it would for an actual family with a small child. Because I'm assuming you're buying apples, pears, oranges, and fruit that is costly. It costs a lot. So it was with these things in mind that I decided that a greenhouse initiative was probably going to be the best course of action. So what I did is I essentially made 3 different styles of greenhouses with my water filtration system and design. And what I've done is I've made it so that there can be large food production for communities that need food sovereignty. And I was offering that to, of course, to all First Nations communities across Manitoba, especially if they had a population base of anywhere in between 300 and 1,200 people. So yeah, I definitely wanted to help them out. I also had a mid-sized greenhouse that I put in place for sort of people that have medium to larger size families, but also like if you were a mom and a dad with 2 children and you also share some leftovers with your neighbors from time to time, or you're always giving out food, something like the medium sized would probably be more for you, as it is typically big enough to set up into any standard size yard, and it will allow you to run and operate and grow produce all year round. All of my greenhouses are designed to produce all year round. And they're all designed with the setup in mind that your hydroponic towers will definitely be your 3 to 6 month growing to harvest period, because essentially they're soilless. So basically you're going to take a little piece of rock wool, you're going to make sure it's nicely saturated, you're going to put your seed in there or your little sapling, and you're going to put it in a little cup, you're going to put it in the vertical tower, and the vertical tower is going to take care of it from there. You're going to have to make sure that the reservoir has water in it and that it's cycling water up in its timed intervals as it's meant to. But other than, and a little bit of plant food into the water because you want those nutrients, right, to make your food grow great. But other than that, it takes very little effort to care for and or produce vegetation with my design. And it was done this way to entertain families. I mean, you guys are busy, both parents are working, you don't have a lot of time, so there isn't a lot of need for a ton of fussing with this design. Essentially, it's there to help you produce food to supplement what you cannot afford or what is becoming too expensive. There's also a additive that each person has the ability to add, which is a lattice design to the top of the greenhouse, which essentially provides the ability to grow strawberries and the potential to grow small melons like honeydew and cantaloupe. So definitely keep that in mind if you're looking to grow, a bunch of vegetation and you want to add in a little bit of fruit. My greenhouse design definitely left room for that. So to answer everybody's question out there, yes, this is a greenhouse. Yes, it is for gardening, and for growing and for food sustainability. Now, I kind of have 2 parts to my greenhouse. So the first part is anybody in Winnipeg that wishes to have this greenhouse put into either their deck or their yard, feel free to drop a comment and I will get to you. If you are, of course, on the other side of that fence, you want the greenhouse and you very much want to grow your own food, but you can't afford it. Also, put your name into the comment section and put a green heart beside it so that I know that you're in the families that can't afford it. So basically what I'm looking to do is create a list. A list of customers that want the greenhouse, that can afford to pay for it, of course, because your standard size personal greenhouse starts at around $2,500. It's not cheap, but it'll allow you to grow continuously till you don't want to grow anymore. That was the idea behind the whole thing. Okay, so with that in mind, yeah, it has the ability to save you literally thousands every year on produce for your personal sized ones. And if you live in an apartment, there is definitely one for your deck. So do not sweat. If you need, I've got a 4x4, 6.5 foot model that definitely will go on to people with decks. So you don't have to worry if you live in an apartment. Also, it's small enough that if you wanted to, you could slough it off into a corner somewhere, and it almost looks like a weird closet or a little pantry in your kitchen, if you have the space. If you are putting it out onto a deck, and because it is light and there are timers, you're worried about your neighbors, have no fear. We do have tarps we can throw over top of it so that the lights are not interfering with your neighbors or their quiet time. We do try and consider everything. So with that in mind, yes, your individual greenhouse starts at around $2,500 with all the setups. And basically what that is you put in your order, pay for your kit for whatever your setup is, and allow 5 to 7 business days because I do have to order the solar pieces of your kit to come in, and I do have to order a few of the materials to build it with. By the way, I'm staying local. For all of you Canadian people out there, I am buying Canadian. I'm not building this greenhouse for anybody without it being Canadian made. So yeah, that is definitely where I went to go with that. So if you are on the other side of the fence and you have put a little green heart beside your name because you can't afford the $2,500 starting for your greenhouse, I'm going to say that I am issuing a challenge to everybody out there that can afford the $2,500 to sponsor somebody on the Green Heart list. So if you are a business and you're looking to dole out some money for a cause, if you are a individual, if you are the city of Winnipeg, if you are whomever, and you want to help sponsor the Green Heart list, then get a hold of me and drop a comment and say, I want to sponsor a Green Heart member. Okay? And for all you other ones out there that need it, definitely let me know. Put a Green Heart beside your name and we'll see what we can do for you, okay? So I'm not looking just to turn a fast buck and make a bunch of money off of what is an absolutely amazing idea, but I'm looking to help the community as a whole. Okay, so yeah, to all my Winnipeg peeps out there and everybody out there listening, thank you so much for tuning in and enjoying this video. And until next time, I hope everybody has a great week. Peace!